The Prodigal. By Dwight Lyman Moody. That young man going away from his home that we read of in the 15th chapter of Luke, an ungrateful man, an ungrateful wretch as ever once saw. He could not wait for his inheritance till his father was dead, he wanted his share at once, and so he said to his father, "Give me the goods that belong to me," and his good old father gives him the goods, and away he goes. I can see him now as he starts on his journey, full of pride, boastful and arrogant, going out to see life, off in grand style to some foreign country, say, going down to London. How many have come down to London, that being the far country to them, squandering all their money? Yes, he was a popular man as long as he had money. His friends last as long as his money lasts. A very popular young man in London, hail fellow well met greets him everywhere. He always paid the liquor bill and cigars. Yes, he had plenty of friends in London. What grand folly! But when his money was gone, where were his friends? Oh, you that serve the devil, you have a hard master. Well, when the prodigal's money was all gone, of course they laughed at him, and called him a fool, and so he was. What a blind, misguided young man he was. Just see what he lost. He lost his father's home, his table and food, and testimony, and every comfort, and lost his work, except what he got down the while feeding those swine. He was in an unlawful business. And that's just what the backslider is doing. He is in the devil's pay. You are losing your time and testimony. No one has any confidence in a backslider, for even the world despises such a character. This young man lost his testimony. Look at him amongst the swine. At last one in that far country comes along, and, taking stock of him, says, "Look at that miserable, wretched, dirty, barefooted fellow taking care of swine." "Ah," says the prodigal, "don't talk to me like that. Why, my father's a rich man, and has got servants better dressed than you are." "Don't tell me that," says the other. "If you had such a father as that, I know very well he wouldn't own you." And no one would believe him. No one believes a backslider. Let him talk about his enjoyment with God, nobody believes it. Oh, poor backslider, I pity you. You had better come home again. Well, at last the poor prodigal comes to himself, and he says, "I will arise and go to my father," and now he starts. Look at him as he goes along, pale and hungry, with his head down. His strength is exhausted, and perhaps disease in his frame, and so shattered that no one would know him but his father. Love is keen to detect its object. The old man has often been longing for his return. I can see him many a night up on the housetop looking out to catch a glimpse of him. Many a long night he has wrestled with God that his prodigal son might come back. Everything he had heard from that far country told him his boy was going to ruin as fast as he could go. The old man spent much time in prayer for him, and at last faith begins to arise, and he says, "I believe God will send back my boy," and one day the old man sees afar off that long-lost boy. He does not know him by his dress, but he detected the gait of him, and he says to himself, "Yes, that's my boy. I see him now pass down the stairs. He rushes along the highway, he is running." Ah! That is just like God. Many a time in the Bible God is represented as running. He is in great haste to meet the backslider. Yes, the old man is running, he sees him afar off, and he has compassion on him. The boy wanted to tell him his story, what he had done, and where he had been, but the old man could not wait to hear him. His heart was filled with compassion, and he took him to his loving bosom. The boy wanted to go down into the kitchen, but the old man would not let him. No, but he bade the servants put shoes on his feet, and a ring on his finger, and kill the fatted calf, and make merry. The prodigal has come home, the wanderer has returned, and the old man rejoices over the backslider's return. Oh, backslider, come home, and there will be joy in your heart and in the heart of God. May God bring the backsliders back tonight this very hour. Say as the poor prodigal did, "I will arise and go to my father," And on the authority of God I tell you, God will receive you, he will blot out your sins, and restore you to his love, and you shall walk again in the light of his reconciled countenance.